friends, welcome back. So today we are going to be doing a jump board workout that's suitable for all levels. We won't be doing a heap of jumping, we'll just be integrating it into the workout, so it's a bit of a mix of jump board and reformer as well. Really good if you're a beginner to jump board, just to get the feel for it. We will be starting with some hands and straps though. So I have a red and a yellow spring, which is one heavy, one light spring, and let's start laying down on our backs. Alright, I have my headrest up here too. If you have a little head pillow, you can use that. Let's just start by grabbing our short loops, reaching our arms up to the sky here and pulling a little bit of tension on those ropes so that our wrists are over our shoulders. We're just going to start with a little bit of deep core activation here. So just relaxing through the core here, feeling that nice neutral spine, a little bit of space between your lower back and the carriage. Take a deep inhale, and as you exhale, you're going to pull your belly button in, closing that gap between your lower back and the mat. Inhale, release, let everything relax. It's only a really small movement here. So as you exhale, you're bracing that core. I'm just keeping my feet resting on the jump board for the moment. Inhale, release. Exhale, draw everything in. Good. Really important that we get good core activation going through our hands and straps here. Keeping the glutes nice and relaxed, keeping the legs relaxed. The only thing that's working really is that core. We're just keeping a little bit of tension in those ropes. Alright, on your next one, exhale, bring that core in, belly button to spine, lifting your legs one at a time into tabletop position. Still keeping that carriage nice and still. Let's reach one leg out long over the top of the jump board. Bringing it back to tabletop. Other side. So keeping that carriage still. Feeling a little bit of work through those arms now, through the lats. Exhale as you reach. Inhale to return. Keep focusing on drawing that belly in. Ensure those ribs aren't flaring or relaxing. Let's go here for 5. Last 3. 2. On this next one, we're going to add a straight arm sweep. So as you reach one leg long, sweep those arms down to the carriage. Bring everything back in and up. Exhale, sweep. Reach those fingertips long. Bring that leg in as you return those hands to the sky. Keeping those knees stacked over those hips, especially that leg that's staying in tabletop as you take that leg extension. We're going to add on, so on your next one, extend one leg, hold those arms long, and then you're going to switch which leg is extended. Reach those arms back to the sky as you return back to tabletop. Good. Repeating like this. Switch when those arms are down. Bring everything back in. Keep alternating which leg you're starting with. Really slow it down. You're very welcome to add a chest lift into this one as well as you sweep your arms by your side. You can lift your head, neck and shoulders up, switch legs, then lower it down. But I'm just going to keep my chest down for the moment. On this next one, let's keep switching legs. Sweep those arms down, switching. Keeping that core nice and stable. Reach those fingers long. Here for 4, 3, 2, 1. Reach those arms back up to the sky. Rest the feet on the jump board for a moment. Now we're going to go for some T arms. So our arms we open out to a T position. Make sure they're not dropping below the reformer. Gentle bend in those elbows here. Legs come back to tabletop. Exhale, sweep those hands to your hips. Return back out to that T. Reaching those fingers long, and make sure you're not letting those hands come past the shoulder blocks as you reach back out to that T. This is feeling good. We're going to add a little core challenge. So as you open your arms out to a T, extend both legs over top of the jump board. Sweep as you bring those legs back to tabletop. Open out to the T, extend the legs. Sweep, bring those legs back in. It's quite a lot of stability on that core. So go nice and slow. Let's go here for another 4. Last 2. On your last one, hold it out there, breathing. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bringing everything in. Hanging those straps up and on their pegs now, or you can drop them. We are going to do a little bit of jumping. So I'm going to actually drop my straps into the wall so they don't clink as I jump. Alright, we are going to warm up these legs now, so let's squeeze our legs together. Squeeze your knees and ankles together. Feet are parallel at the very top of that jump board. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, you're going to press out. Shoot those toes over top of that jump board. And then landing nice and softly. So we are still on just that heavy and light spring. So it's not going to be too heavy on those legs. We're still working a little bit of core here. Really try and point those toes when you jump. Reaching those legs as straight as you can. Keep those legs squeezed together. Making sure your feet aren't dropping towards your springs as you jump out. Let's go here for 10 more. Last 3, 2, and 1. Come in. Alrighty, this time we're going to jump out with both feet. When you're in the air, you're going to bring one knee to your chest, land with both feet back on the jump board. Keep alternating sides. Inhale to prepare, exhale, press out, bring one knee in, land with both feet on that jump board. Keeping stable through the core. It's a nice fast tuck here. Tuck that knee, return. If this is feeling good, when you jump out, can you kick the legs straight up to the sky, land with both feet. Otherwise, just stick with those knee tucks. Try not to slam the carriage into the stopper like I just did. Let's go here for another 10. And 1, coming all the way in. Alright, to finish off our jumping series here, we're going to go for some single leg jumps. So let's have our left leg in tabletop. Make sure your right foot is in parallel, toes up to the ceiling. Inhale to prepare, exhale, press. Aiming those toes over the top of the jump board. About landing nice and softly. Nice big jump on this leg for 5, 3, 2, 1. Go straight to the other side. Left leg jumping now. Right leg in tabletop. Let's go for 5. Last 2. And last 1, come all the way in. Hug those knees to your chest for a moment. Just take a little circle with those knees. Reversing direction. Alright, we're going to roll up and change our springs. We're going to go for a little bit of side lying. So I'm going to put on just 1 green spring, which is 1 medium spring for me. Alright, I'm going to lay on my side. If you have a head pillow, you can put that on. If you have a ball, you can also use that. Or you can just have your headrest up. I just hung my strap up, and we're going to lay on our side. Alright, once you are there, make sure your bottom's to the very back edge of your carriage. Hips are stacked. You're going to thread the big loop up to just above your knee here. Making sure those hips are stacked. Knees are stacked, lifting up through the bottom ribs. We're just going to take a clam to start. So a little motion, you're keeping your heels squeezed. You're just lifting that top knee up to the sky. without that top hip rolling back, and then lowering it back down. Carriage will move here. Feeling that outer glute squeeze as you lift. Keep the core nice and strong, supporting you in this position. We're going to add on, lift the knee, lift the heel up to meet the knee, and then you're going to lower the heel down, keeping the knee high, and then lower the knee down. Lift the knee, lift the heel, the carriage won't move, lower the heel, lower the knee. If you like to have your heels elevated for this a little bit, you can do that too. Let's do 3 more. Last one like this. And we're just going to take parallel leg lifts, so knee and ankle lift at the same height. The carriage won't move this time. Lower down with control. Squeeze that outer glute. Keeping those hips stacked. Let's just go for 4, 3, 2, last one. Lower that knee down to hip height. You're going to sweep that knee back. Rotate that knee up to the sky, a little bit of external rotation through the hip. Drive that knee in toward your chest, and then lower it back down to hip height. Sweep it back. So we're drawing little hip circles here. Really good for our hip mobility, for our joint stabilization. On this next one, let's reverse direction. So lift that leg up first, then sweep down, then bring the knee back into the chest. Sweep up, lean down, sweeping in. Really stabilizing here through that hip. Go for 3, 2, and 1. Alright, let's take our foot or our leg out of that strap. You can hang it up and drop that strap back in the well so it doesn't click. We're going back into some jumping here. So we're going to go parallel foot to sort of the middle or closer to the top of that jump board. Toes, knees facing forward. Alright, so inhale to prepare. Exhale, you're going to press out, kick through that toe, landing nice and softly. We're on a light spring here, so take your time. You've got plenty of time to really get that leg out long. And the key here is to not let that foot drop down to the springs, keep it lifted. Let's just go here for another 5. 3, 2, and 1. Come in, have a little tap out if you need. And then we're going into external rotation. So toes and knee pointing up now, but again, make sure you're not rolling back. Keep that top hip pressed forward. Exhale, press, pointing that toe, landing softly. So we're trying to keep that bit of external rotation as we're out in the air. Nearly there, give me 5 more. Last 3, 2, last 1, come all the way in. Ooh, we really felt that one. Alright, let's swing our legs off to the front. We'll just take a little glute stretch, pressing that ankle over the other knee. Little lean forward here. We're going to keep that medium spring on, so mine is a green. I'm going to come up to a kneeling position in the middle of my carriage. I'm going to grab onto my short loop here in my inside hand. So my left hand, right hand is going to be on my hip. Palm facing in, elbow stays narrow. Exhale, overhead press. Inhale, lower back down. Good. So try and keep that arm nice and close by your side, by your head. Keep those shoulders relaxed, sitting up nice and tall. If you want extra resistance, you can come up into a high kneel and then sitting back into a low kneel as you bend that arm in, or you can stay in your high kneel. We're going to add a side lean, so overhead press, lean your body over to your jump board, come back to center as you lower that arm down. Exhale, press and lean. Coming back down. Try and keep leaning directly over to the side. We're not letting that chest lean forward or back. Slow and controlled. Let's go for 4 more. Last 2. Last 1. Rest that arm down for a moment. We're now going to bring our hands together, making a nice big O shape in front of the chest. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, you're going to rotate your upper body to your jump board and then just back to center. So we're working our core and our obliques a little bit more here. Try not to take over with those arms. The twist is coming from the core. We are going to add on, next time you come to center, we're going to take an overhead lift, framing that head, back to chest height with control, Exhale to rotate. Back to center. Overhead lift. Lower back down. Rotate. If it's too much in a high kneel as well, you can be in that low kneel too. Make sure those hips are staying facing the front. Let's go for another 3. Last 2. Last one here. And relaxing down. Take a little shake out through your shoulders if you need. We're keeping that medium spring on, coming into some reverse crunches next. So bring your knees up against your shoulder rests. Those hands out halfway up the railing, and then you're going to pull yourself up so that your shoulders are directly over your wrists. Exhale, scoop through the belly, pulling that carriage into your wrists. Return it back just until your knees are under your hips. Exhale, scoop. Inhale, return. Think about scooping up with the belly, slightly rounding up through the spine. Really drawing that belly button in. Loaded. If you need a little bit more resistance too, you can just walk your hands up a little bit further on your rails. Try and keep the legs nice and relaxed here. All the work is coming through the lower abdominals. Let's go for 5 more. Last 3, 2. Hold that carriage in, really scoop up through the belly. Breathing, let's take little pulses out an inch, in an inch. Make it small. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming on out of that. Sink back into your child's pose for a moment, taking a few nice deep breaths here. Alright, I'm going to grab a quick drink and then I'll see you for the other side. Alright guys, starting off with our side arm series this time. So grabbing onto that short loop, coming to the center of your carriage, left hand on your hip. Right palm is facing in, elbow nice and narrow. Exhale for your overhead press. Inhale as you control it down. Again, you have options for this, so you can go into that high flow. So as you press overhead, lifting up onto your knees, or you can stay in that high kneel. Shoulders are relaxed down and back. Go for 4 more like this and we'll add on. Alright, on your next one, overhead press, lean your body over to your jump board. Come back to center as you lower down. Exhale, press and lean. Coming back down with control. Really crunching through those ribs that are close to the jump board, leaning with the body. Let's go for 4. Last 2. Last 1. Relax it down, take a little rest. And then we're going to bring our fingers together at chest height. Exhale, rotate just the upper body toward your jump board. Back to center. Slow and control. The twist is coming from the core. On this next one, we're going to add on rotate, come back to center, overhead lift, lower back down to chest height with control, back to that rotation. Framing the head with the arms. That core is nice and steady, stable. Need a little bit less resistance. Again, you can come into that low kneel. You can also grab onto your long loop if you need it. Let's go for 3. That's 2. Last one here. Lowering it down. I'm going to hang my strap up, so we're going to go into our side lying next. So keeping that medium spring on. Laying on your side now. Bottom to the back edge of that carriage. Again, we're going to thread that long loop up to just above the knee here. Keeping those hips stacked, knees stacked. Lifting up through the bottom core, we're just going to start with those clams. Lifting that top knee, squeezing the outer glute. Lower back down, slow and controlled. Make sure you're not lifting up so high that that top hip is rolling back. Just enough to feel that outer glute working. Not losing that control. And those heels glued. Let's go for 4. On this next one, we're going to add on to lift the knee, hold it lifted as you lift the heel up to the same height. Lower the heel, lower the knee. Lift the knee, lift the heel, lower the heel, lower the knee. Take 2 more like this. Alright, now we're going to take that whole leg lift, so knee, ankle lifting up at the same height. Squeeze that outer glute, the carriage won't move. Lower it down. Lift and squeeze. Lower with control. Let's go for 3 more. 2. Last one. Bring that leg just to hip height. You're going to sweep that knee away from you down to the jump board. Rotate the knee up, finding that external rotation through the hip. Bring that knee in nice and close and then lower back down. Nothing else is moving but the leg here. Keep the lower ribs lifted. Good circles as big as you can without losing that control. On this next one, we're going to reverse it. So bring that knee in, then up to the sky, sweep down to the jump board, bring that knee back in. Making full range through that hip joint. Take 2 more here. Last one, and then you can take that leg out of the strap. You can hang your strap up. I'm going to drop it so I don't clink. Tap the glute out, take a little break if you need. Now we're going into our parallel jumps here. So toes are facing forward, knees lifted up. Probably a little bit higher than hip height here. Exhale, pressing out, pointing through those toes. Landing nice and softly. Keep that ankle lifted, don't let it drop down to the springs. Let's just go here for 5. 3, 2, 1. Come in for a moment. We're going for that external rotation. So toes, knee turned up to the sky, but not so much that your hips are rolling back. Inhale to prepare, exhale. Press, pointing that toe, landing nice and softly. Good, nearly there. Try and keep that external rotation as you jump. Move that leg's tight. Let's do 3, 2, last one coming in. Oh, well done, guys. Sit on up, you can swing your legs off to the side and take your glute stretch here. Alright, we're going to finish with just a little bit of feet in straps to cool down. So I'm going to place a red spring on. So I have a medium and a heavy spring. And then I'm going to hang up my loops. Laying down on your back. Pressing that carriage out. Bringing your feet into those long loops. Start with those legs glued together. We're just going to reach them up to the sky and then sweep them down. Hip Some pelvis is staying nice and steady. Dragging those heels down. Lift with control through the core. Let's lower our feet down to the 45-degree angle. Glue your heels together, turn your toes out. We're bending those knees in nice and wide. Pressing those legs long, zipping up through the inner thighs. Don't let those heels drop down to your bottom. Keeping those heels lifted at knee height or even higher. It's about making that diamond shape with those legs. Alright, we're going to press our legs out to straight here. Keep your toes turned out. You're going to open them a little bit wider than the jump board. Exhale, squeeze those inner thighs back in together. And then go for your frog. Bending, pressing, a little open. And drag those heels back together. Bend, press, open, and close. Alright, on this next one, we're going to take it into really little leg circles here. So press those legs out. Open up just a little bit wider than the jump board. Lift those legs up to the sky and then drag those heels back together. Lower down. It's almost like drawing a rectangle, I suppose. Out. Sweep those legs up and then drag those heels back together. So your feet are still turned out here. Still working those inner thighs. On this next one, we're going to reverse it. So start with your legs up to the sky. Open out to a little V. Sweep those legs down. Glue those heels back together. Lift up to the sky. Open out. Drag it down. Heels come together. On this next one, we're going to take it into big leg circles. So your legs can just be in parallel now, your feet parallel. Open out to that nice big V, sweeping all the way down. On this next one, let's reverse direction, opening out to the V at the bottom, big circles around. Take your last one here, keep those legs out in a nice wide V split stretch. If you need a deeper stretch, pull down on your strap so you can place a little bit of pressure on your legs as well. Gluing the bottoms of your feet together, you can hug your feet to your chest or you can let those feet drop down to the springs. Taking those feet out of the straps, rolling on up. And that is us all done, guys. I hope you had a great session, enjoyed a little bit of jumping, and I will see you in the next one.